Hey, what's up everyone? I hope you're all having a wonderful day or night, but for now, let's get into the video.
For all of my adult life, I have been told by men that men cheat, that it's just something that happens, it's something you have to accept, it's in their DNA, they're biologically programmed to cheat. And I have always resisted that, and I've always said, I don't believe that's true, I believe that there's good and bad people everywhere, there are men who absolutely would not cheat even given the opportunity. And it's men who are like, you're naive, you're an idiot, all men cheat, just get with it. This week there's been some revelations. It's the Enlightenment period. Women are starting to think, damn, maybe all the men are actually cheating, like they're actually programmed to cheat. Maybe this is what it is. Maybe actually it's time to just like leave them alone. And now it's men saying, no, not everyone cheats. There's good and bad people everywhere. Not everyone's going to do that, even given the chance. What a kind of 180. Like, which is it? Are all men biologically programmed to cheat? Or are there good and bad people everywhere and not all men cheat? Because I'm getting whiplash. I feel like I've been gaslit.
By who? Because it wasn't men for sure. Whenever all men comes into the conversation, you know that's not a conversation started by men, but instead by one of you. Men, in fact, wouldn't even say all women. Just because we know of a woman that cheated, we also know a woman who didn't. So no, it wasn't a man who told you all men.
Y'all, my biggest op is my 8-year-old niece who introduced me to all of her friends tonight and said, this is my aunt. She doesn't have a boyfriend. She doesn't have any kids. And she doesn't even have a house. And they all looked at me and were like, why? I don't drink, but oh my god, tonight?
Go crazy. No, what I mean, give them about 10 years and as soon as they'll go to college, they're gonna go into gender study, of course, and then they'll be you.
Do you know what I hate as a child-free person? When I'm reading a book and I get to the end of the book, you know what's coming. And as a reader, I've been fully invested. I've been happy when the character is happy. I've been sad when the character is sad. I've been frightened when the character is frightened. So I'm feeling good when I get to the end of the book and there's been a resolution to the conflict. I'm like, cool, this book was really good. And then the author does what the author always does and goes, and 2 years later, she looked down at her round growing belly and sighed with happiness. And I'm like, you just ruined it. You just ruined everything that I was feeling about this book. You, for some reason, decided you needed to add in a baby at the end. Like, oh, let's just chuck a little baby at the end, a little pregnancy. That'll wrap it up nicely. No, you just ruined the whole book for me. I'm like, damn it. I was feeling so good about this. Now, my main character, who I get very much in their shoes. I'm like, now I'm bloody pregnant. I'm going to have to deal with a baby. Like, I get sometimes adding that into a book if it's relevant. But can we just stop with the baby trope on the 2 years later at the end of the book? It doesn't need to happen.
Why does it bother you so much though? And maybe she was just looking down at her round belly because she gained weight, doesn't need to be a baby. But even still, why does it bother you so much? Do you rely that much on people living the way you live, so you feel the happiness you say you feel by being childless? If you do rely on other people living the same way you do, then I would suggest never going outside. There are women with their kids going outside, no? So maybe don't go outside.
And a little secret to detachment, literally the more you fulfill your purpose, the more you are detached. That's just how it works. I'm telling you, when I was attached to guys, when I was attached to situations, friends, or whatever, I was not doing the things I loved, and I was not doing the things that I was meant to do on this earth. I did not feel fulfilled on my own, so I would fill that void with other people. And that's exactly how you get attached, guys. That's how you get attached. Because I'm telling you, once you start working on yourself, okay, I have a video on this, how to become obsessed with your life on YouTube. But once you start working on yourself and doing the things that you've always wanted to do, yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's scary, but who cares? Literally, who cares? Everybody's gonna die at the end of the day, okay? That's how you have to think. There is no room for attachment. And everybody's like, oh, you have to be whole. You have to be whole on your own, everything, whatever. That never made me understand shit until I realized it's when you do the things that you love that you are whole. Anyways, hope that helped. Follow for more.
That did in fact help. It always helps me looking at whoever is giving life advice and say, you? No. I was attached to guys as in plural and I didn't do the things I loved. Well, you still did them, right? And how exactly you were attached to them? Again, them as in guys in plural. But you're not old enough to have been attached to any of them. But now you're detached by doing the things you love. I don't even care anymore. But no, I will not follow you for more. Question for you guys. Do they really go into life coaching or whatever the hell this was because they really believe they have so much wisdom and they feel the need to share that wisdom with everyone else? Or is it really because they have no life and they have no other subject to talk about?
I hung out with a load of Gen Z women the other day and they made me realise that dating is for millennial women, and this is why. So I do adult gymnastics. We had a night out with everybody and most of the girls there are early 20s and they've got very different views on relationships and dating to me. First of all, they think that women should ask men on dates and they're more than happy to ask a man on a date. This made me think, as a woman who's 38 years old, I've never asked a man on a date in my life, and nor do I want to, because I want a man who's in his masculine energy and is going to pursue. If there's loads of women out here that are happy to ask a man on a date, they're going to have way more chance dating than me, if that's what men want now. Also, these women told me that a coffee and a walk would be their preferred first date. They see absolutely no issue with it. Again, if these women are willing to do coffee and a walk, men are going to go for that instead. And every single boyfriend that I've had or any guy that I've dated for any significant period has always taken me on a proper first date, whether it was an activity or dinner. Why would I now settle for less? I feel like coffee and a walk is what men do when they're low effort, they don't want to spend money, and they're dating a lot of different women. I'm someone who always video calls before meetings, so I don't need a coffee and a walk vetting date. If we FaceTimed, I already know I quite like you and I'd like to go on a proper date. Next up, they said that they are happy to pay half on a first date. There was even talk of whoever asked the person on the date should be the one paying, which is crazy to me. You don't need a provider man. I've never dated a provider man. I would love a man that pays for the first few dates. It is a non-negotiable for me that the man pays for the first date. If a man didn't pay for the first date, I would never see him again. And when I told the Gen Z women that, they were shocked. Again, every guy that's ever been my boyfriend or I've dated for a few months has paid for the first date.
And now at 38, it's almost like it doesn't matter who pays for the first date or where the date is going to be, because every single one of those men are gone now. I keep saying this and it's never going to change. I will pay for the first date and second, third and so on. But at the same time, I really don't care where you want to go for the first date. It's gonna be a coffee date. And I get that that sucks for you, like really sucks for you. But at the same time, when it comes to me, I'll have two choices. You or someone who doesn't think a coffee date is beneath her. So coffee date it is. Oh, but no, I'm not in my masculine energy. Okay.
And I then fell into, how do we say it, the dance industry. One thing led to another, as it does. I think at the time I was working in the airport at East Midlands, and I tell you what, I was so frustrated with this manager. I think, what was my shift at the airport? So I think it was about 5 a.m. start, I'm going to say. Before, I think we had to be there about 4 a.m, but the shift started at 5. It was to go through security, be there for the first flight of the morning, get everything set up, something like this, right? And it was an okay job, but this manager just, was working in this like little cafe in the airport. She comes up to me one day, I was in the middle of making coffees, we've got a massive queue of everyone waiting to catch flights. She was like, there's a piece of bread on the floor, can you go pick it up? And I just thought, who are you talking to? Like,
she quit her job because obviously she was not going to pick some bread off the floor, and she became a midnight ballerina dancing by the street poles, like light poles, no, just poles. But hey, those poles are still up on a stage, so of course she's part of the dancing industry. And of course, whenever she was going to her client's house, she was basically doing house calls, so you just as well call her a doctor.
If a guy is liking my Instagram story, it's immediately over. I get the ick. I think it comes off as very immature. Like, if you're liking my Instagram story, you're probably liking every other girl's Instagram story. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
Oh no. Whatever will I do now? I guess I'm just gonna have to go on about my life like nothing changed. If in fact not a single man will go on their Instagram and like stuff, whatever, the world would actually be a better place.
Men have taken the very serious issue of mental health and have personalized it just to them.
I know, right? Where do men get their audacity to make something that affects them personally about themselves? Don't they know that anything that is not about women will make women mad?
Men are not the only ones who struggle with mental health issues. In fact, it doesn't even predominantly affect men. Women struggle with a variety of different mental health struggles as well. And why do we have a designated men's mental health month, but we don't have a designated women's mental health month?
And that right there is a TikTok brain that is completely rotten. Everyone with even a single functioning brain cell left would have, I don't know, do an online search to see if what she's about to say is actually valid. Women's Mental Health Month is observed in May. This month aims to raise awareness about mental health issues that specifically affects women, promote early detection and treatment, and reduce stigma surrounding mental health. And you will know that if you really cared about women's mental health. But when all we care about is bashing men online, you do once again prove that your brain is rotten, and that's why you're on TikTok.
Guys, if we're looking for a reason to stay single in 2025, I've got a little story to tell you.
Say no more, I'm sold. See, you can say a lot of things about me, but you can never say I don't listen to women.
What are your pronouns?
They, them, but also it's because nothing is real.
Huh? What are your pronouns?
I'm afraid.
What the What are your pronouns?
They, them.
Why?
Because I'm non-binary.
Keep telling yourself that, darling. What are your pronouns?
He, they.
Why?
Just feels right.
This just in, a recent study has proven that 100% of me doesn't give a
Right then, this is gonna be it for today. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still appreciate you for making it this far. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe and I will see you in the next one.